Coming up, international success from some of our young Aussies in the United States of America. How a big overseas trip like this with a training camp attached to it can really influence your development. Cairo was also crazy and some insane Premier League stats from that trip that we were just on. But all that follows after our talented friend, Good Fortune. Welcome back to the Kaizen Culture Pod, where we are keeping the conversation moving within Australian karate. My name is Mitchell Durham, here as always with Nathan Blockley and John Stainer. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, whether it be on Apple or Spotify, and we're also watchable on YouTube. So please give the podcast a rating if you are enjoying the content. Now, not much going on at the moment in the karate space, I don't think, but we've got a few big things happening right now with the kids in the US. How crazy seeing the results. I actually didn't even know the US Open was on like last weekend.
I didn't know anyone was going.
No, I had no idea.
I didn't know any Aussies were going. I knew it was on because there were actually quite a few like Premier League sort of athletes that were doing the US Open instead of going to the Premier League in Cairo. So they actually chose to do this tournament over a Premier League, which is just speaks to the quality of this tournament. I mean, it's a great one. I've done it once, you've done it twice. Yeah,
it is one that Australians have seemed to hit quite a bit over the last 10, 15 years.
I can't remember the last time someone's done it, but it felt like it was something that we were frequently going to. Even the national squad was like earmarked that as a targeted event.
Yeah, that was really cool. It's ambitious. Like it's far away. It's not cheap. Flights aren't cheap. You know, it's an ambitious trip to have. But yeah, fantastic quality tournament, and it is something that we can medal in. Like it's not, like nothing is beyond medal potential, but there's definitely those events that fall under our skill level a bit more at the moment. You know, and US is one of them.
Yeah, I think we've tended to have a good history there of like medals, and you want that tournament where you can go and maybe pick up a bronze if you do well. You know, I think you don't just want to compete in the ones where it's like you have to compete out of your skin, hope it goes your way, and you get through a couple of rounds. You definitely want to enter ones where like, if I do well, fight well, then I'm going in a chance for a medal.
Yeah. This is also a great one is because it's the US Open and the Junior International Cup. So I think they do this every year where they run two events in the one weekend or week or whatever it is. But I don't know what the actual separation of that is exactly.
Yeah, well, it used to be, do you remember the first time we went? I'm pretty sure it was labelled the Junior Olympics.
I'm not sure.
I assume that branding's changed.
They just took that. Also, we're going to call ourselves the junior. You can get away with that back in the day.
Yeah, I think you could. Yeah, I'd definitely say that I competed in the Junior Olympics.
It's in America, so they'll be like, "This is the World Series."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So yeah, that branding's definitely changed. I thought US Open used to be kids as well, kids and cadets and juniors, but it seems to be just seniors now. Am I right?
It looked like it on the drawers, but yeah, I'm not sure. Well, should we just quickly shout these kids out first?
We definitely.
I don't. I reckon we got to.
Can't gloss over that.
It's hard. Hudson Maggio is actually not even a kid. He's 18 or 19 or something like that, so he's not a kid. But Hudson Maggio got the bronze in under 21 minus 84 kilograms. Lucy Maggio, she made it all the way to the final and was actually winning, and then I think she injured her ankle. Hudson was telling me, and so. Then the girl came back and beat her, but she ended up with the silver in the junior division.
That'd be amazing for her development.
So good. And then Matthew Riley as well in the junior division made it to the final and I think was winning 2-0. And then the guy got like a head kick in the last second or something like that. So being so close to the gold medal.
Both being up is really interesting.
Yeah. It's
like well within the fight.
So good.
They must have been fighting at their best. And I love watching all three of them fight. And I said, like, Hudson's so explosive and he's got that reach and all of that. Lucy's just a bulldog on the mat. She'll just like, she just, like, you know how some athletes sort of like attack, but they sort of start veering to the side because they're worried about somebody coming at them, come back at them. Yeah. She just goes straight through. Yeah. And then I've always loved watching Matt Riley fight. He like...
Clean, hey?
Yeah, I think his eyes actually look at the body. I don't think he looks an athlete in the eyes. Like he always has his eyes down,
Hate that.
and you never
Hate
think
it.
he's going to attack, and then all of a sudden, bang! Like
Is that awkward to fight when
combination.
people like
Yeah,
that?
I think who was I fighting once? Can't remember. Someone, but then they're looking down, and you're just like,
Hot tip
like,
against
look
Mitch.
at me, man. Yeah,
Don't make eye contact.
giving it away.
Throws him off.
Yeah.
No, that's so. Oh, these kids are great. Like to go over there and compete and medal in such a big event. This is a huge event. It was held in the Paris Hotel. We went and it was in Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
But it's in a massive venue. There's like 10 tatamis. There's heaps of people
What a
running around.
tournament.
It's so good. Like just to be able to, I don't know, keep calm and composed and to, go through some rounds and medal at this event is such an achievement.
Yeah, maybe we don't have the stats on it. I don't know if you do, Mitch, but maybe their first international success. Would you say?
They went to Austria last year before Worlds. I think then they medalled. There was quite a few of them that medalled there. So I'm not
So
sure.
maybe not.
No, I think they've done a few things. But this is great. They actually also attended a training camp beforehand. So with Denis Morozov, he's the I think he coaches some of the USA athletes now, but he coached Angelica Terluga and Irina Zaretska for the Olympics.
Wow.
Got
Incredible.
two silver medals. Like he's an amazing coach. So doing a little training camp beforehand, is it? I don't know what city there is in. I should have got the details, but like that would have been so good for them in the lead up to that event.
Yeah, that makes just the trip that much more worth it. You get training camp and competition.
We harp on about it all the time.
We do.
But do
Yeah.
the training camp before
Yeah.
the comp or at
Yeah.
any point.
And
Go over.
everybody does it. Like I don't know if we've got Cairo on next, but just a segue of that. Like Elena Karici and her team were training with the Egyptian team before Cairo Premier League. So even the world's best do it. They do training and then they do
Yeah.
the comp.
How
Just get
weird-
more out of the trip.
How weird. Abdelaziz went to Switzerland to train and then to Cairo to compete. We thought that it would be like
The other way.
whatever. But yeah, no, it's like it happens. You got the youth league in Porek that has the big, massive training camp, and it's obviously just a big spectacle, but it's actually valuable, because you get people looking at you get the coaches looking at you get input, feedback from all the athletes, and then you just roll into the comp, feeling good about yourself.
Yeah. Good opportunity for some sharp training. I wonder, like you guys have done it, do you feel like there's less pressure on the competition because you've got something out of the trip regardless, and like it frees you up a little bit, and that you don't have to be like, I remember going to compete in Europe and you're like, I'm here, I've flown all the way, mum and dad have spent so much money, and you have to go out and do a kata on the mat. And then like if you've already done some training and you've got something out of that.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. I've never thought that way though. Like
You still want to do best, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
more like, I guess, dealing with that pressure alongside of you.
I think doing something at the event location wherever that you're competing definitely helps break it in.
Yeah.
So if it was a training camp, you can imagine going there and sort of like maybe pairing with some people and be like, oh, these guys aren't like superstars.
Sure.
I feel confident in this space.
I belong here.
Instead of just straight out walking on the mat and just being like, okay, now I need to experience this level of pressure. Am I up to it? Am I not? I don't know. You can maybe go through those thought processes before.
Yeah, no, I would love to actually I tried getting more out of Hudson. Just I was chatting to him as we were flying back from Cairo, but he wasn't giving me much information.
Tight.
I don't know. Just scared to tell me anything. I don't know, but maybe he didn't.
You're
want
gonna
to
dob him in on the
exposed.
podcast, get him in trouble.
Exposed. But he said he fought some really good Senegal guy
Yeah.
from the senior category, and he was
And
just like
he ended up winning the
Yeah.
senior category. That's
Oh,
the
cool.
guy.
I think it was the first round as well, which sucks. But he was saying he just got cleaned up. But
Would
it's
it-
the senior character.
Didn't he call him like a freak?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Just saying he's super talented. This
Yeah.
guy. Senegal is a super talented team.
Yeah.
They are so athletic and strong, And it's just to sidetrack a little bit as well with that. The Senegal team from team events, and they've always been a strong representation. They're not going to be at the World Championships this year because of the qualification system and stuff like
Right.
that. So, or maybe they would be, depending on where they could fit in maybe continental representation. But the World Championships is not going to have countries like that would blindside some athletes in some countries because it's an elitist thing. you know?
Bit of a shame.
It does make it interesting. Like before, you'd be like, okay, this guy's been to world champions, and now if there's less of that, you might know less about athletes you're coming up against, but they could be really good.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a bit of a sidetrack, but
It's a good point.
Yeah.
No, it is definitely a flaw of the new system. But I suppose you take the good with the bad. Like you see more high quality fights in general with the whole pool system, and you wouldn't be able to do the pool system if you did open it up to every country. And I don't know, not having a 6-day event isn't like terrible either. So
yeah, true. Yeah, then we would,
Especially if you're me.
I mean, yeah, just for selfish reasons.
You don't want to work a 6-day event?
No, maybe not.
Is 3 enough?
3's enough. 3's enough.
Well, that was so good. I'm just going to quickly jump to that because I think it's amazing. Like, GOAT media team right here, Nathan and David from Kaizen Culture.
Yeah, we did kill Cairo. Cairo was amazing. Yeah, we killed it. We killed it. It was, so David was all on photos, I was all on videos, and WKF were really happy with the service that we provided. We're definitely looking at the next tournament, which would be Rabat. There's the gala night involved in Rabat as well.
Oh, cool.
So like the whole suit and tie event with all the top athletes in the world. We could be doing some media at that as well in Rabat. So yeah, just successful. I don't know. It was great being there as well. In China, it was just myself. So there was a lot of rushing around, a lot of content that I couldn't get just because I was solo. I was trying to do photos and videos at the same time. So we provided a more comprehensive service to the WKF, and it allowed us to feel like we didn't miss anything, you know. Obviously, there's always stuff to improve, and we discussed that, and we'll look for that for the future. But yeah, it seems to be going really, really well, which is exciting because what Kaizen Culture is doing at these international events, it's not just for us and, you know...
For WKF.
Yeah, for WKF. It's not just about building our funds as an organisation either. It's about giving back to the karate community. Always everything that we do is all about the Australian karate community. That's what we're involved with. And being on these international events allows this relationship, allows promotion of Australian athletes who are over there, but it also allows us to build our community of international athletes that can then look at Australian Open and say, God, there's some really good quality in Australia, and maybe I might go next year.
Just much more awareness about Australian karate.
Yeah.
Opens up connections and avenues. I think as a sport, if we want Australia to do well, we want to be across all parts of international, right? We've got coaches there, referees. It's great to be in media too. There's no reason why just being around more doesn't help.
For sure. It's a win-win. So like whatever we're doing on the international stage, it's indirectly benefiting the Australian karate community. And that's why we're doing, like, if it wasn't for that, then we wouldn't be doing this sort of stuff.
I loved watching the finals in Cairo, and you just kept popping up in the background. Oh, there's Nathan. I saw you once in the stand.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
Was that when I was wearing because I was also wearing the Kaizen shirt
I
on
know
the
you were
Sunday.
sitting next to a couple of people. You were on the end. I don't know.
I was feeling quite sick at that stage, so I could have been just in a world of pain. But it was awesome, like seeing you running around with David and the media shirts and seeing the logo, and like you can see people drawing that connection as well, like in the stands that I was chatting to, and I was wearing the logo as well. And people have been watching. People have been seeing the watch party stuff. People have been seeing the like podcast content. So
that's crazy.
It's so nuts. Like, shout out to who was it? Connor O'Sullivan from Ireland. He's like, I was training with him in the lead up to the comp, and I've been friends with him for a little bit. But he was saying he loves listening to the podcast, and I'm like, man, it's like pretty heavily Australian focused podcast. He's like, no, don't care. This is just like something that's evolved in karate, and you get nothing like this. So
it's not just our mums and dads.
Yeah, it's so good. It's nice to hear that we got some international audience. So if you listen to this and you're from overseas, like we want to hear your thoughts and maybe some things we can talk about, because who knew that we would have an international audience? What
did Connor say exactly? Like in the Irish accent. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Come on. What do you say? What do you say?
No, he says, I listen to your podcast. Sorry, Connor.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't the best.
We had some questions from our international audience would be fantastic. Or things they'd like us to comment on.
Yeah. Even Jamal Otto messaged us.
I saw that
So
message,
Wayne Otto's son used to compete and
I
stuff.
trained with Wayne Otto back in the day.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Really?
Did one of his seminars.
That's awesome.
It was so good, yeah.
He was very big in the 80s.
Yeah, thanks,
Wait,
mate.
Yeah, wait, sorry. That's like 2 podcasts in a row.
Brutal. I'm pretty sure it was the late 90s, early 2000s I trained with him, I'm going to
Yes,
say.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jamal messaged and he said he's got some idea of like a business venture for karate, and he loves to listen to the podcast as well. So maybe we can work some things out, and that's like if we can supply some benefit to international audiences, like that's just so wild to me. So yeah, it was wicked talking to a bunch of people overseas in the stands about like even the Greek boy Georgios Valiotsis. He got bronze in Cairo, and he said that he like found us out from the discussion that we had about him in the European Championships. You know, we were talking about the Wakarate issue.
Oh, yeah.
And we shouted him out, we put him on socials and stuff like that. He's like, the first time I heard about you guys was through this, and he pointed to the logo. And
That's
just
so good.
It's just so awesome to know that we're like reaching out to that audience. So, and what Nathan was talking about before is that like that has a big benefit to Australian athletes and coaches and just the community in general. If we can have a relationship, or the rest of the world looks at us in a different light. You know, I was having a chat with this other girl, and I said, "Oh, we're did the Australian Open 2 weeks ago, and I had 11 fights and was doing this." And she says, "Oh, but like, was it hard?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was hard. All right, fighting the best in Australia is actually so hard. You know, like some people still might not have that perception of Australia is good, and so if we can boost up Australia's view to the rest of the world, then, like you said, maybe more people are going to come. And people want to come.
Yeah, I mean, you see it with the US at the moment heaps as well. Like the Orlando Open, they've got the Egyptians coming over to compete and train. So, yeah, that sort of international recognition, it's very valuable for the development of the national organisation and its members.
Yeah, I think it looked great. You guys looked so good in your media shirts. Like every time you popped up, you looked like, I mean, it's weird because you're sitting here next to me, but I was like, you look like you were definitely just part of what was going on and covering it.
Yeah.
I also think the interviews that come up on WKF are so good.
Oh, the tatami replays.
I love all the athlete interviews. I think that's one of my favourite things in sport is hearing from the athletes. And I think that's something karate's not done well before.
Yeah,
So,
that was something we were very passionate. So, like, tatami replays was the thing before we started working with the WKF. It's a very new initiative. They only started in Paris this year, but obviously we weren't present in Paris. But one different thing that happened for this tournament is we actually did interviews of athletes immediately after they competed. So you haven't seen them yet.
Oh, so you did
so
good.
good.
So you did do this.
Yeah. So we had a little spot where the gold medalists went, and we asked them a couple of questions about how they competed and stuff
so
like
good.
that. So that's still yet to be published.
Who was asking those questions?
It was Carla. Yeah. Carla mainly. I think there's definitely opportunity for me to have some more input in terms of questions and stuff. And obviously having a karate background where the media team for the WKF they weren't competitors originally, so they don't know specific questions that the karate community might want to hear. So I definitely think there's more opportunity for me to be more involved with that. But yeah, just getting the
immediate reaction.
Yeah, the immediate reaction of an athlete after winning a Premier League, like it's super valuable stuff, and it's something that hasn't really been done. Like it happened in Morocco, a year ago or 2 years ago, you said. But that was through all the Moroccan federation. It was nothing to do with the WKF. It wasn't really aired internationally. It was just sort of an internal process. So yeah, super excited for that as well.
I want to go through some stats from the comp. And there's quite a few interesting little things that popped up and takeaways from the medal statistics and all that sort of stuff. But there's a few things to go through, so I reckon we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back.
Perfect. Cheers.
Okay, back from the break, and we wanted to go through some of the cool results that John picked up on. He sent out the post-event results, so thanks for doing that while we were away.
Yeah, blame me if there's a mistake.
That looks good. I love it. You actually had a good idea as well. What did you say you wanted to do with
I thought it would look good if we put like the top 3 countries.
Oh, yeah.
like medal
in there?
statistics, yeah.
Medal stats, like, because I think Egypt would have topped this one, right?
Absolutely.
just a little bit. What did
Yeah.
they get? 6 gold?
They got 12 medals, so 6 bronze, 2 silver, and 4 gold. Some of them were in the same division as well, so it was like 2 bronze. There was a finalist. That was a final. It was all Egyptian final.
Yeah, so
It's just crazy.
12 medals is an average of 1 medal per division.
Yeah.
I
crazy.
didn't think of it that
Yeah.
way. The
12
depth
divisions.
of having 2 medalists at a Premier League level in the same event,
It's actually so wild, hey?
2 finalists.
Yeah.
And it is all kumite.
Yeah,
It is
no-
all
no
kumite.
kata.
There's no
Yeah.
kata. They've got some talented kata athletes.
They
but I
did
don't
used to
think
be a
any
bit
of
bigger,
them-
some of their Shotokan kata,
Yeah.
maybe 5 or so years ago.
The one that used to compete out of Canada as well. He was Egyptian.
And their team?
competed out of Canada.
They had a good team
Oh,
kata
man.
a while ago.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, 12 gold medals. You reckon there was home ground advantage for that one?
100%. Oh my God. There was, I remember watching Ali and Saeed. And like Ali's an incredible fighter and he did really well against Saeed, the world champion. World champion? Yeah, he's
No,
got
no.
He's not world champion.
Grand winner, no.
He's going to be vying for that for this year. He's grand winner 100%, but I rate him. I rate him as probably like, we should make it like a pound for pound ranking of all the athletes. How
this is
sick
wild.
would
that
that
would be a cool episode.
Great idea.
Yeah,
Great
someone
idea.
want to do it?
That was
What
straight
about the
off
Paul
the bat,
Carter?
by the way, to our audience. That's the first time that
Carter coming
idea.
together.
Yeah. Anyway,
Carter.
I put him as like maybe second pound for pound fighter
Okay.
in the world. Maybe third.
It's a bit cool.
It's
Maybe third.
it's tall, but
Maybe 4th.
he dominates his division
Yeah.
at the moment. Like he is just all on it. So it was Ali from Egypt, who's Egyptian captain, versus Saeed in the pool stage, and Ali was like he was getting up, but some of his points maybe shouldn't have been points, but the crowd effect. Like every time he did anything, it was just screaming, and like referees definitely. You can
You're
say that
human.
they're unbiased, but like it definitely, we're all human. It plays a part. And he was getting some points that maybe other athletes shouldn't have scored. So he still came back, but there was definitely some Egyptian home crowd advantage there, I reckon.
But you don't get, like I agree, but you don't get 12 medals unless you have the squad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not
Like-
saying that they only got there from the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Like
they-
there was a Premier League in Ireland in 2023.
They didn't win 12 medals.
They did not win any medals. I think he actually only had 2 representatives, actually, so that's a bit unfair. But yeah, it's
The
I mean-
depth in their squad is just just having that many medalists in one event or 12 for 12 at a Premier League level is just, I can't wrap my head around that depth.
no.
well, just minus 75 in general. The first time Abdelaziz lost, by the way, in 2 years.
I forgot about that complete. Yeah. Yeah, first time the king falls. Yeah, so he didn't lose by points.
Yeah.
Maybe you can still
Decision.
hold that title. Yeah, it was decision 0-0.
He's still got, no one's beaten him on points in 2 years.
Yeah, and it was his teammate
3-1
as well.
Abdel Gawad from Egypt fought him.
Incredibly talented. I think it was a 3-1 decision
Yep.
against Abdelaziz. So
And I think it was correct. I was watching the fight and I was like, actually, because I was sitting there going, oh no, like Abdelaziz is not didn't do the most in this match. Like obviously, doing this for 3 minutes, you can't pick one.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like, it looked like very clearly that Abdelaziz should lose.
Okay.
And I was like, well, this is just, he's not going to lose because he's Abdelaziz.
yeah.
And he lost. on the
And he
decision.
lost.
Good on the refs for actually making that
Yeah,
big call.
huge.
Someone that's not lost in 2 years, it would have been easy to just, even subconsciously, you know.
Yeah. But no, it was pretty crazy to see him lose.
Maybe Abdelaziz has reached the point where referees actually sort of want him to lose.
Oh, no.
You know, like, oh, this guy always wins. Maybe I have an opportunity here.
Apparently he's
maybe
such a
not.
nice guy, though.
He-
Like,
I think all the Egyptians are such
Yeah.
nice guys. Like, and that was just being in Cairo as well, like the locals and whatnot. It was
Yeah.
very polite and
Accommodating.
welcoming,
Yeah.
accommodating sort of people. So it was cool to see. Also, another cool fact: Yusuf Badawi won the Take 84 against Al Jafari, 3rd time in a row on decision. Third time he's won on decision.
Remember, Paris was crazy. That fight was crazy.
Okay, that was crazy. So he won on decision in China, won on decision here.
And he won in Paris.
And he won
Wow.
in Paris, and he broke his thumb 2 weeks before the Cairo tournament. So he fought in Cairo.
Is there a term
with
for that? In
broken
some
thumb.
sports, you get called a bunny if you keep losing to the same.
Yeah, it is a bit of a money.
is there a
Has Al
bit of a-
Jafari beaten Badawi?
Yes. I think it like a African championships or something. I
Yeah,
remember
right.
watching a fight.
But that many
it was-
times in a row is definitely that's
Three times this year.
back to the drawing board a little
But the
bit.
thing is, their fights are all the same. They did nothing. They just do little cat and
Well,
mouse
if you
game.
keep losing them and they're all the same, you're gonna lose the next one.
Yeah.
Don't you
He's
reckon?
got
Like
a-
you have to change something up.
He does. Yeah. Yeah, you were speaking on how you didn't love that cat and mouse sort of game that
Mexican
Kumite's-
standoff.
It was a bit mouse and mouse at the start. It's too big. Really, like, I mean, the Carter athlete speaking here, but great fighters, but there was no fighting
Yeah.
for 2.5 minutes. I want to say.
Do you think this is, once again, we love talking about the rules, but is this a product of our game, or is it the rules, or is it just like what Kumite has gone to now?
I think Senshu definitely tried to fix that problem, like incentivize scoring first. But it's an argument that can be made that maybe people are more defensive because they'd rather not give up Senshu. So it's not more about achieving Senshu, it's more about not wanting to give up Senshu. So, and always in our sport, the defender has the advantage because the attacker has to come in. A defender can just react, anticipation, counter. They've always got that slight advantage. So if the first point means so much and it's easier to score as a defender, maybe both athletes
Yeah, I
take
wonder if
that
it's working
defensive
backwards
stance.
now. Because like you said, when you're up, you have the advantage anyway. So it's like there's double reason to not concede the first point, and it seems to now be this negative space of not conceding rather than I can go out and win that fight. I can go out and win that point. To me, the biggest problem is the warnings. At the moment, like that fight we were just talking about, but you can get 2 minutes of playing around with passivity, jogai, I'll hold on so I don't get a 3-point score. I mean, you just get away with so much. And then
How annoying is it when you're taking down someone and you're like, oh my God, I'm about to...
that to me is not punished hard enough. If it's a bit like in soccer, you take someone down, you get a penalty kick, they're going to score a goal. Like one warning does nothing. You've just you've saved yourself 3 points, which is massive.
Yeah.
And all you get is like one warning. There's too much gaming in the system, and the fights to me look like they were very much like, how can I absorb and take on as many warnings as I can and not be vulnerable at any point in time? And like people were just stepping out of the corner early on in fights. It's not about fighting.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing with the Hun Sokachui rule in the last 15 seconds, that many of the warnings go straight to Hun Sokachui. It means if you're not close to, or if you're not on Hun Sokachui already, between like the 15-second and the 30-second, even a minute, you've just got throwaway warnings.
Yeah, people were doing that.
Yeah, you're going to get Hun Sokachui in the last 15 seconds. Pretty much everybody does.
It's interesting the way they've done that. I think I don't want to advocate changing rules all the time, but it might be interesting if you got a double warning regardless of where you were. Because at the moment, people were just going, I can collect up to here because I'll be at Han Sokachui.
That I think that's the crux of the issue, is having free warnings to just throw away. You can be in the corner in 20 seconds to go. You can be 1-0 up. You can be pressured, like your opponent's worked for 20 seconds to pressure you into the corner. And then because you've got throwaway warnings, you just step out. And it's all the work. Yeah, it's all the work that the attacker did is nullified, and you're off scot-free pretty much. So it definitely...
And too many warnings. 5 is too many.
Yeah.
I think if you had less warnings to play with, people wouldn't play with them.
So true.
At the end of the day, you'd go back to the points because someone's going to start going, I'll fight. And then the person who fights best will score points.
Well, someone that does fight in light of all of these sort of trends of Kumite is Elena Carici.
She fights.
She fights. And you can tell because she just bagged her 31st Premier League medal. 31 medals.
There's only a few of them a year as well.
I'm trying to count. Have we had that many Premier Leagues in like however long? How do you get 31 Premier League medals? And a lot of them are gold. So,
Wow.
And she's a beast, man. And she's probably my pound for pound.
Yeah.
I want to see more
You-
people
you gotta
fighting like her.
Do you, in this pound for pound idea, do you have male and female?
It's male and female pound for pound.
Like
Wait,
one
as
each.
together?
No.
One
No,
each,
like
yeah.
a
Okay.
fem- yeah.
Yeah. So she's my female
Female
pound for pound. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to see more people fighting like her.
She's
Let's just get to the points.
because she can also fight defensively, aggressive defensively as opposed to like pushing forward. She had actually had some really adverse matches at this one as well. She was down in, I would say, 3 of her matches I saw.
Okay.
And so she came back from, I think she copped a head kick or a takedown or something early on in one of the quarterfinals or something. And she just like switched it on. Just so aggressive, and she puts pressure on.
There's a bit of evidence, like backing when you got 30 Premier League medals, that you can
I
do
mean,
it.
yeah.
You're just like, you're not doubting yourself out on that matter, I don't think.
Yeah, and the other person there that's standing there like, oh gosh, I've just
I've
I've
just poked the bear.
Yeah.
How much time's left on the
Yeah.
clock? 2 minutes.
I think I saw like, because she always wears her hair in a bun.
Yeah.
And it like came undone, and like it's the first time I've seen it, and it's just, she looks so scary, just like didn't care about the hair being messy. She's just like gone in, just it
It's like
looks
when
so scary.
The gloves came off.
and I'm sitting in the stands watching. Imagine fighting it. So that was wild. 31 Premier League medals. That's insane.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
Holy heck. We haven't spoken about your performance at Cairo, Mitchell. The only Australian to be at the event.
True. Besides the photographers.
Yeah, there wasn't any Australian coaches there, like or even Brian, representing us.
Yeah. No. It was actually a bit tricky this time, going solo, because last couple of times I've been going with Hannah and Brian's been there, so it's been really nice to just manage that with them, and Iris was the last one, so you always have like a buddy to warm up with if you can get into the warm-up area. These guys were just not strict at all, so anyone could walk in. So I was sort of thinking to myself, should I just try it without a coach this time? And it's just like, you can't. First of all, you need the review card. It's like a must.
It's a huge thing. Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten the medal 2 years ago if it wasn't for that card, and so I weighed that option. Like, okay, well, all right, need a coach, and also just a psychological influence on other athletes, other coaches, and other referees. So as a referee, we've been told many of times, if you're not sitting there with a coach, the referee just goes, oh well, I'm not feeling pressure to score your points, so because of the card is not there.
Sure.
So subconsciously, I'm safe. And I think there's another thing of like, well, this athlete isn't serious enough to have a coach with them, whether that's internal at the front of their mind. So I was like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? So speaking of Karichi, Elena, her husband and coach, Raul, he coaches part of, it's like their business, they have a little team and they coach some other international athletes as well, like Connor and Maria and Neve from Scotland, and he's a coach of the Swedish national team as well. So, and we've been chatting over the last few Premier Leagues and just along the circuit, just really nice people. So I just reached out to him and I said, hey, would you mind if you coach me for this Premier League, please? And that's a part of his business, so I was happy to pay for that as well. So he was super invested. He had a look at my fights, had a look at the opponents that I was fighting. And now he's sending me a review of my fights and stuff like that. So,
that's great.
Yeah, it's just feels really nice to have that that care factor and that investment from a coach on the Premier League stage, because it's such a big, daunting stage sometimes when you're there by yourself. And just the strategic element of it as well. Like, he fully understood my game plan and he's said all the right stuff for what I think anyway. Unfortunately, this one, for me, my performance wasn't as great. I didn't feel myself 100%. I felt a bit burnt out, I think, over the last few months, just probably pushing the button too much with comps. But, that's just how I wanted to try and attack it in this early part of the year. But yeah, I definitely felt burnt out after the coming off of especially that first match of the round robin. I was like, far out, I'm gassed. Like, I actually feel unfit. That's how burnt out I felt. And just had a discussion with Raul, and he was just like, just rest. Just have some rest, time off, and don't, think too much about it. Because then I watched him back and I was like, oh, it actually wasn't too bad of a performance. Maybe it wasn't, but sort of just mentally. But yeah, just tired. Just felt really exhausted. So it's good to reflect on the performance strategically, but just sort of moving on from it and going, all right, well, give yourself a bit of grace and have some time off and get set for the Oceania in like 6 weeks. So
yeah, I thought you came out like super aggressive, and you looked like you were about to score, which is a huge thing for the referees. You weren't like sitting back or anything. So I thought that was super positive. And then, yeah, as you said, you had 11 fights at that Oz Open sort of weekend, and that was 2 weeks before Cairo. So it's been
a lot of fights this year.
Been a hell of a couple of months, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So.
it's but it was great. Like it was just awesome being there with Raul in the chair, and he seems really confident in you as well, which makes you feel quite nice.
It seems like a great idea if you're going to spend all the money to go out there, hotels, flights, and all the training you've put in.
Yeah,
Why not get a coach if you don't have one?
yeah,
Very important, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like you got a lot of value before it. You got a training partner to warm you up, which else you would have had to just ask some random, I guess.
Well, it's hard
even if
you're
you
warming
could.
up with the same division.
Yeah.
In the Premier League system, you warm up together with the division, and
Sure.
so there's no one else in there like from another division, or maybe someone else is warming someone else's like country teammate up. So you're not going to ask them, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a bit.
So yeah,
awkward.
getting that plus the rundown of the athletes that you're about to verse, and the coaching on the day, and then a post review as well. Like that's a lot of value provided.
No, it was awesome. So big shout out to Raul and Team Crucci as well. Like they're just such a great group of people. So I really appreciate you for the weekend. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, happy to cap off Cairo.
Yeah, I think so. Well, one more thing as well. Just the Germany got 5 bronze medals.
Oh yeah,
And that's without Reem, the grand winner from 61 kilograms, and without this other 67 boy, Mohammed, I think his name is, who's very good. So
They're coming up, Germany.
So Germany and Noah Bish are doing some great things with that team.
Germany are getting dangerous again.
It's ridiculous.
Japan as well got six medals, 3 of them in men's kata.
Wow,
That's
no surprise.
2 in
You're talking about depth in a team, like
Well,
a
Japan
team
and
that is
kata, yeah.
deep, yeah.
They've always been like they could have 2 or 3 world champions, it feels like. But you can only send one.
Yeah, but like they're probably the top 5 could be world champion if they were
They're
actually
all so
able
good.
to. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, incredible.
anything else you want to chat about?
I'm happy to sign it off. We've
Yeah.
got Oceania in 5 weeks.
5,
is
6
it?
weeks. I think it's 6 weekends.
Yeah, God, very.
It's a good amount of time to
It's
just
a
like
great time.
chill, build back up.
Yeah, and then we've got Rabat in 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Must be the weekend before. So, I suppose
Sorting out
there's
your
a bit of
visa
a
yet?
break.
You get
Sorry?
the visa
You
going.
can get the visa.
We don't talk about that.
Obviously, Nathan got his visa because he was
Yeah,
at Cairo.
yeah.
Sorry, yes, I did get my visa.
Everyone
at
has been
Cairo.
in
It was-
suspense since the last pod.
They
Yeah, we
didn't
don't-
even check.
Yeah, they didn't even check. I could have had a tourist visa
Could have
and
got a
came
tourist
in
visa.
easy, like 100%. But it's that Murphy's law. The one time you
have to
don't
do the
do
right
it,
thing.
you get called out for it. So
Yeah.
it's better to be safe and sorry and do things by the book and the processes to be right. So
Maybe
Yeah.
just before we finish as well, like just another really quick, big congratulations to the Maggios and Riley and Matthew Riley just to go out there and do what they did. Fantastic. If you guys are competing overseas and doing these comps, like let us know so we can hype you up. Like we want to let everyone know that you're competing overseas and how you can maybe follow the international circuit. So we probably should have checked, but we were in Cairo and things happened. But just be like, hey, like we're heading over this. Let us know where you're going. Things like that. So
that'd be great.
Absolutely.
cool. All right. As always, please let us know your thoughts and opinions and anything you'd like us to talk about. After all, we're an organisation for you. Send us an email at kaizenculture.info@gmail.com. Just sign up to everything that we're talking about. Packages will be coming out from Oz Open.
Yes, yeah.
It should be
They'll
out.
be out by the time this releases for
So
sure.
check the emails, subscribe to everything, hit us up on socials. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.
See you, boys.